Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 11. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Paribrajakachaja Stota Rasata Sri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Premsaka Ho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ki Jai Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse number 11. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Asochanam Vasochastvam Pragnavadam Shabhasase Gatasum Agatasumscha Nanusochanti Pandita. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Asochanam Vasochastvam Pragnavadam Shabhasase Gatasuna gatasumscha nanusochanti panditaha. Sri Bhagavan Vacha asochanam vasochastvam pragnavadam shabhasase gatasuma gatasumscha nanusochanti panditaha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Blessed Lord said, while speaking learned words. You are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Purport. The Lord at once took the position of teacher and chastised the student, calling him indirectly a fool. The Lord said, "You are talking like a learned man, but you do not know that one who is learned, or one who knows what is the body and what is soul, does not lament for any stage of the body, neither in the living nor in the dead condition." As it will be explained in later chapters, it will be clear that knowledge means to know matter and spirit and the controller of both. Arjuna argued that religious principles should be given more importance than politics or sociology. But he did not know that knowledge of matter, soul, and the Supreme is even more important than religious formalities. And because he was lacking in that knowledge, he should not have posed himself as a very learned man. As he did not happen to be a very learned man, he was consequently lamenting for something which was unworthy of lamentation. The body is born and is destined to be vanquished today or tomorrow. Therefore, the body is not as important as the soul. One who knows this is actually learned, and for him there is no cause for lamentation, regardless of the condition of the material body. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Asochanam Vasocha Swam Pragnavadam Sabhasase Gatasums Akatasumscha Nanu Sochanti Pandita. So right away, at the beginning of the discussion, the real discussion of Bhagavad Gita, at the beginning of what is actually Gita, begins in the second chapter. The first chapter of the Gita merely sets the stage, just like in a play, on the stage, a drama. At the beginning of the drama, a character will come on the stage and he will explain what is the purpose of the drama. He will set the stage. This is one of the rules of dramatic performances in the Vedas. So in the first chapter, Krishna, Vyasadeva, who's actually writing this, is explaining what the situation is. And then in the second chapter, the real business begins. The business is that Arjuna is bewildered about his duty. He doesn't know how to act. He should have known, because he was a great warrior. He was the cousin of Krishna. Not only was he Krishna's friend, they were also related as cousin brothers. There were two kings, Devaka and Ugrasena. They were brothers. Devaka's daughter was named Devaki, and she married Vasudeva. And from that marriage, Krishna was born. And Ugrasen, Devaki's uncle, he was the father of Kamsa. Therefore, Kamsa became the uncle of Krishna. So the Mahabharata was not only a discussion about world politics, it is also the characters are very intimately related to each other. Just like we are all intimately related to Krishna, and therefore we are intimately related to one another. This is not this is our family business, finding out who we are and what is our relationship with God, and how to see others in connection with God is our real business. It's the real family, not the family we build in the material world, not the manifestations and progressions from the body, that I am this body, I am from Italy, I am from England, I am from India, I am from Holland, this is my wife, this is my husband, these are my sons, this is my daughter. No, these are all temporary manifestations. Nationality, casteism, jingoism, big flags flying, national anthems. This is all temporary creation which has nothing to do with reality. The real reality is that we are eternally connected with God as spirit souls. Kshetra Gyan Chapimam Vidi Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata. This body is like a field, kshetra, which can be cultivated to produce different crops, different manifestations. If we cultivate the body, all the manifestations from the body, although they are real, they are temporary. They don't last forever because they are built upon the bodily conception, and the body is bound to die. But within each body, there is the Supreme Soul is there. So even though we may become entangled with nationality, with family, community, we should know that even in these manifestations, Krishna is always present. He is the Kshetragya. He is the one who is directing all the wanderings of the body. So Kshetragya Jnanam, Krishna says, knowledge of the body and the honor of the body, Yat Tach Jnanam Matir Mama. Krishna says, my opinion is that is real knowledge. So this is the key reason why a living entity, a human being who has the possibility to understand, should understand his spiritual energy, spiritual nature, and surrender to Krishna. Why surrender to Krishna? Because Krishna doesn't forget his spiritual identity. That is a definition of God. A definition of God is achyuta. He never falls down to the material platform. He may come into this material world. He may act like a human being, as Krishna did. He acted like a cowherd boy, then he acted like a prince. He married 16,000 wives. He fought many battles. He gave instructions on the Bhagavad Gita. He was glorified by all the sages and all the great personalities of his time. And 5,000 years later, he is still famous. He is still worshipped in thousands and thousands of temples in India and in the Southeast Asia. He is known even in the Western countries because of his Bhagavad Gita and because of the activities of his devotees like Srila Prabhupada. And that is because he never falls down. He is achyuta. So he is always in a position of authority. And he is acting as the internal guru or the Chaitya guru, the guru within the heart. So as soon as Arjuna approached him, not only as a friend, but as a teacher, Arjuna approached him, Karpana dosha upata svabhava. My svabhava, my nature is become corrupted. Karpanya dosha. It's become difficult for me to understand. Prichami tvam, I'm asking you because my dharma samura chetaha, because my idea of what is my duty has become confused. So he's saying, Shishyasteham, I'm your disciple. This is the process, the Vedic process of understanding spirituality, is to surrender to the guru within the heart. That is the first step. To go to Krishna and pray to him, please Krishna, send me directions on how I can become free from the illusion of the material world. And then by his mercy, not only knowledge will become manifested within the heart, but also an external manifestation of Krishna as a guru will become available to us by Krishna's mercy. And what is the first duty of the teacher in regarding to the disciple? This is shown here by Krishna. The first duty is to chastise the disciple because the disciple is in illusion. So the first duty of Krishna is to tell Arjuna, Asochanam vasocha swam. Why are you lamenting for something which is not worthy of lamentation? Gata sum agata sum cha. Something which is coming and going has no reality. It is like a dream. You wake up in the morning and you've had a dream, good or bad, might even have been a nightmare. Within a few minutes it is forgotten. Because it's a dream, it has nothing to do with reality. So gata sum agata sumscha, coming and going like a dream, nanu so chanti panditaha. Those who are learned, they don't lament. So pandita is the title given to the Brahmana. In India, the Vedic system, there are 4 castes: the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. The Brahmanas are the head of society. They are addressed as Pandit or learned man because their duty, their constitutional duty in the social body is to give direction. Just like my head, my brain, it gives direction to my body how to act. Then the next caste are the Kshatriyas, or the arms, the warriors like Arjuna, who are meant to implement the vision of the Brahmanas. And the Kshatriyas are addressed as Thakurji. Then there are the Vaishyas, who work under the Kshatriyas. The Kshatriyas allot them land and properties so they can exploit it, they can cultivate it and produce crops, take care of cows for milk and butter, and grow grain so we will not lack for any material facilities. They are called Seth-ji. And then there is the working class, those who help the higher classes, those who help the Vaishyas in producing the needs of material society, those who help the Kshatriyas in proper administration and making sure that nobody is cheating and nobody is exploiting anybody else, and to serve the Brahmanas who give directions for the society. So these 4 divisions are called Varna Ashrama. And this is how society is divided optimally so that we can make spiritual advancement. And Krishna is his first action as once being accepted as guru is to show his disciples what a fool he is. When you surrender to Krishna, knowledge comes into your heart. What knowledge? The knowledge of seeing what the material world is really like. To see what a fool you've been in having remained engaged so assiduously in sense enjoyment. How foolish, how much you have wasted your time simply enjoying your senses. Therefore, the guru chastises the disciple right at the beginning. What to speak of Arjuna? Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Radha and Krishna, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Naya Anya. He is nothing but Radha and Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself with the mood of his internal pleasure-giving potency. In the mood of the great ecstasy that potency gives him. Because when Krishna is in the mood of ecstasy, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he becomes easily approachable. Because when you have a lot of ecstasy in your heart, then you're very liberal with everyone. As we say, the world loves a lover. Why? Because the lover loves the world. When somebody is in love, everything is wonderful. Everything is beautiful. He wants to share that love with everybody else. Therefore, when Krishna comes in the avatar or the incarnation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then it is very easily approachable. Yet when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to teach us by example, he also approached the Guru. When he was in his early 20s, he traveled to Gaya. Gaya is a holy place in Bihar, just over the border from Bengal. And in Gaya, there is a temple of Lord Vishnu. His footprint is there. And traditionally, the higher castes, Vaishyas, Kshatriyas, and Brahmanas from Bengal and from Bihar, they go to Gaya to worship their ancestors. Once a year, they go there and they offer pinda. Offering pinda means that your ancestors, your father, grandfather, great-grandfathers, they may be rotating in the material world. They may be in the upper or middle or lower planetary systems. So to give them your duty, you go to Gaya and you offer prasadam at the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu on behalf of your ancestors, so that wherever they may be, because they are being remembered by you, and because you are approaching Lord Vishnu to give them mercy, they become freed from whatever entanglement there may be. That is the duty of the descendant. So when Lord Chaitanya went to Gaya, he met there Ishvarapuri, and he became his disciple. So Lord Chaitanya, even though he's Krishna, he taught by example that when you come into the material world, when you accept the material body, that means you're accepting a certain amount of ignorance. And therefore you need a teacher, you need a guru to open your eyes. Chakshus unmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha. We offer respects to our spiritual master because he opens our eyes. If you read these books by Srila Prabhupada, there is nothing but instructions on how to open our eyes to see the reality of the material situation. When Lord Chaitanya was involved in a discussion with another sannyasi called, I forget his name. Anyhow, Lord Chaitanya was in Benares, and he wasn't associating with the other sannyasis. When he was traveling as a sannyasi on his way to Vrindavan, he stopped in Benares. And he was mainly busy with chanting and dancing. So the other sannyasis, Mayavadi, impersonal sannyasis, who don't really believe in a personal form of Krishna. They believe that Krishna is only a stepping stone to the effulgence which emanates from Krishna's body. In other words, the effulgence from Krishna is so bright, even great sannyasis are not able to penetrate this brightness. Just like if you look at the sun, you cannot see the sun disk, it is too bright. We can see the sun disk, but the instructions of the Vedas, of the astronomy in the Vedas, we can understand what is the sun planet, what is the situation, but with our eyes we cannot see. So similarly, the Mayavadis or the impersonalists who try to understand God by their own power of austerity and knowledge, they become stuck by seeing the bright effulgence. But the devotee, he prays to Krishna to remove this effulgence. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya pihitam mukam. The devotee prays. This is in the first Upanishad. And especially the Upanishads, they are very dear to the Mayavadi philosophers. But right in the first Upanishad, it is said that the devotee sees the effulgence. Hiranmayena patrena. Hiranmaya, the brightness. Patra, it is a curtain which is covering the face of Krishna. Tattvam pushana pavrinu satya dharmaya drishtati. Please, Krishna, they pray, remove this curtain of brightness so I may see your face. This is the process. And this can only be done with the help of a pure devotee of Krishna. The pure devotee of Krishna is one who has seen beyond the effulgence. He has seen the face of Krishna, and he can testify. Krishna gives him the power that you have seen me, you understand my situation, now you are able to explain it to others, explain it to your disciples. So, when Lord Chaitanya had a meeting with his sannyasis, they criticized him. Prakashananda Saraswati was his name, the leader of the Benares sannyasis. Prakashananda Saraswati, he challenged Lord Chaitanya that, my dear Mahaprabhu, my dear Chaitanya, you are part of our community, yet you don't associate with us. You simply chant and dance with sentimental people. Why don't you come with us and study Vedanta? And Lord Chaitanya replied, Guru more murka deki korile shashan. He said, my dear Maharaj, my guru, he saw me as a murka, as a fool. Korile shashan, and he chastised me. Murka to me, he said, you're a fool. Tomara naiko Vedanta adhikar. You have no power to study Vedanta. Krishna mantra japa sada a mantra sar. You simply chant Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Why? A mantra sar. Because this mantra is the cream, is the essence of all chanting, of all knowledge. So, Lord Chaitanya, he explained that my guru saw me as a fool. And this here you can see, he didn't invent that. That is also in the Bhagavad Gita. You cannot know the face of Krishna simply by argument. It is said in the Mahabharata that Tarko apratishta shrutayo vibhinna naso rishi yasha matanda binna. That tarka, by discussion, by philosophical analysis, apratishta, you cannot establish what is the absolute truth. Shrutayona binam, also within the Vedas, it is very difficult to understand the nature of Krishna. Vedeshu durlabham, Lord Brahma says. But adurlabham atma bhakto is very easy to be found within the heart of a devotee. So, naso rishir yasya matam nabinna. Also the rishis, or the great sages, they are not able to search out what is the actual conclusion. You'll see that Shankaracharya has one opinion, Jaimini has another opinion, Patanjali has another opinion, Charvaka has another opinion, the rishis cannot agree with each other. Everyone is establishing his own because they are trying to reach the absolute truth by their own power. Therefore, they think that their own method is better than somebody else's method. After all, one can only attest, one can only explain and teach what he himself has proven. So, but we see that the different rishis, the different sages, they don't agree. Why? So, it is explained, dharmasya tatvam nihitam guayam. The real dharma, it is hidden within the heart. Mahajano jena gata sapantaha. It is within the heart of the Mahajana, of the great sages, the great souls. And who are these? Swayambur Narada Shambhu, Kumara Kapilo Manu, Pralado Janako Bhishmo, Balir, Vayasaki Vayam. This is Lord Yamaraj teaching his own servants that there are 12 great souls that we should follow. Swayambhu means Lord Brahma. Narada means his disciple, Narada Muni. And Shambhu, Lord Shiva. Kumara Kapilo Manu, the four Kumaras, Kapila Dev, the son of Devahuti, Swayambhuva Manu, Pralado Janako Bhishma, Pralad Maharaj, Janaka Maharaj, the father of Sita Devi, Bhishma Dev, the grandfather of the Pandavas, Balir, Bali Maharaj, Vayasaki, Sukadeva Goswami, and Yamaraj. Vayam means myself. Yamaraj is explaining. So these 12 Mahajans are actually the carriers or the holders of what is our relationship with God. If you follow one of these 12 Mahajans, you will be able to understand what is Krishna. All of them received the mercy and became qualified to teach others. Krishna consciousness, or knowledge of God, it is like an electrical current. It is always flowing from Krishna, but different living entities have different power to tap into this current, which comes through the heart. Now, these 12 Mahajans have the power to channel that understanding of God for the benefit of humanity. In fact, all these 12 Mahajans have taught the science of devotional service. And by following them, Mahajano Jena, those Mahajan, Gata Sapantaha, following their path, following their understanding, then we can also make progress in spiritual life. So, in this verse, we see the beginning of Krishna teaching Arjuna that don't worry about your grandfather, don't worry about your teachers, don't worry about your cousin brothers, your family members, don't worry if they live or die, don't worry if you live or die. worry to follow my instructions. The whole idea, the whole secret of life is to connect with God. There is nothing else that we have to do. There is no other duty. There is no other business. No nationality, no jingoism, no casteism, no family, no business, no work, no power. There is nothing in our conception that can compare to the real business of life, which is to connect with God. Because with that connection, at one stroke, all ignorance is finished. You become happy, you become peaceful. Even during the process, because once you accept God as your teacher, once you accept God as your inner guru, then it destroys all your karma. It takes charge of you. It begins the process of purifying you from the bad habits of leading to material attachments that lead to ignorance. It takes care to bring you back to Him, to purify you. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Those who worship me, Krishna says, priti purvakam, with love and devotion. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. I give them special knowledge. Buddhi means intelligence. What kind of intelligence? Buddhi yoga. Intelligence that hooks me up with Krishna. Yena mam upayantite. And what is the result of that knowledge? That they achieve my abode. They achieve me. Just imagine. The whole universe, everything you see, is created by God. It's going on for millions and millions and millions of years. It is full of varieties, full of living entities. But if you catch on to that one living entity, that supreme living entity, who is the creator, maintainer, and destroyer of everything you see, what more can you have? Once you have that connection, everything follows. Thank you very much. So we have our devotees who joined us. Krishna Premavati, Hare Krishna. Atma Vidya, humble obeisance to the assembled devotees. Anna Maria, Hare Krishna. Mandi Priyor, Hare Krishna. Good evening, dear Prabhu. Krishna and Arjuna were cousins because Kunti Devi was the sister of Vasudeva. Exactly. Kunti Devi was the sister of Vasudeva. She was the daughter of King Surasena. She was given as a child to Kunti Bhoja, and therefore she's known as Kunti. But she is the daughter of Surasena and the sister of Vasudeva. Then Prakashananda Saraswati in Benares. Correct. So I've explained to you a little bit. The story of Prakashananda Saraswati in Benares is in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Very interesting story. How Lord Chaitanya was able to discuss with these very exalted sannyasis, Mayavadi sannyasis. Normally, I traveled extensively in India and met many of these sannyasis. It is not that easy to speak to them. They are very learned and very austere. To become a follower of Shankaracharya or the impersonalist schools in India, you first have to give up your material designation and become a sannyasi. And in those schools, generally the sannyasis are coming from Brahmana families. They're all Brahmanas and they're very, very learned. Shankaracharya has his headquarters in South India. And one time I visited there with my Sankirtan party. And I was a little worried, how can I discuss with these sannyasis, these very learned and very austere sannyasis, because what did I know? I was a new devotee practically. But one thing I found out that they like to chant Hare Krishna. They like kirtan. So whenever we met, during the day I would be busy going into the towns, selling books, whatever we were doing. But in the evening we would come back and we would sit together with the sannyasis and we would do a kirtan. And they loved it. It was very nice. So Krishna's name is universally accepted in India, and it is the key that opens all doors. Thank you very much. I'll see you on Wednesday. Hare Krishna.